Welcome to the first module of the Grand Challenge Scholars Program Entrepreneurial Experience. Today we're going to be talking about the socially conscious entrepreneurship process. In this process, we're going to learn to identify client needs and opportunities while developing solutions to address those concerns, ideate in multidisciplinary teams, develop requirements, identify value, quickly prototype to test results, communicate the potential value of a solution, and assess the potential market value of an innovation. The socially conscious entrepreneurship process focuses on two main areas: human-centered engineering and a business model. Human-centered engineering starts with problem identification, then moves into customer discovery and requirements, brainstorming possible solutions, research, then prototyping. From there, we move to the business model part where we look at a value proposition, develop a revenue model, look at competitor analysis, and develop a marketing plan. Altogether, this develops a sustainable entrepreneurial solution to societal problems. The first thing we're going to look at is the problem identification. In problem identification, the idea here is to identify a need in the world somewhere, and then identify primary and secondary stakeholders, research the need and the people that have that need, and then develop a problem statement that encompasses not only who has the problem, but what is the problem, what are the main issues involved. In a problem identification, we should be asking ourselves questions like, what is the problem we're trying to solve? Why is it a problem? Who has the problem and who cares about the problem or solution? These are what we call stakeholders. And what do each of these stakeholders needs? What are their unique situations and what makes them different? Why should they care and how can they affect the process? What are the issues or conflict points in the problem? What are the challenges that might occur with implementation? Have people tried this before and how well did it work? Launching a successful solution depends on identifying this need. If we don't identify the need and we try to put a solution into the marketplace, then often it's going to fall flat on its face. We have to justify and have very good reasoning behind why somebody would want this or pay for it. An unsatisfied need is an existing need that is not being fulfilled for the client. An example here is the Uber solution. The need was for personal transportation that was not based on any schedule. We had taxis, we had public transportation, we had a lot of different options for this, but Uber came in and said this is on demand, it's a boutique style service, it feels like getting a limo, but you're connecting with people that are, instead of licensed or organized by taxi services, they're individuals in the marketplace. And this gave birth to the entire gig economy. New needs might be emerging needs that the client previously didn't have. This is a different issue. In this case, an example might be with electric cars and charging stations. The charging infrastructure is a new need for people that own an electric vehicle or are considering purchasing an electric vehicle. There's a need for that charging infrastructure along highways, in areas that are rural, that sort of thing. This is a new and developing need. It's a new market that is growing. Hidden needs are needs that customers are not aware of and is not able to articulate. In this case, an example might be social networking. Before we had smartphones and social networking, a lot of people didn't think I needed social networking, but now it's a huge business and a huge part of many people's lives. So how do you find a problem and a need? This is really based on a couple of things. You can start with what bothers you or a certain targeted group. You can think, if you're doing something, there's got to be a better way. This is developing the observational skills and the instinct to think, this could be easier. This seems like a real challenging thing. I'm feeling frustrated. Why am I feeling frustrated? And is there a way that we can make that frustration go away or make it easier? Right? Use your expertise to look into a new field for gaps. What is challenging? What are people complaining about? What's happening? Find ways to do things cheaper. Making it more economical, making it more efficient is always a huge motivator for a lot of industries. Asking what if questions. What if this was faster, cheaper? What if it was easier to use? And be observant. Watch and listen to people while staying silent, listening to the problems that people have, listening to the things that are going on around you and what issues people have. That can bring a lot of inspiration, and it can help identify the needs that are around you already. And there are lots of them. Lots of people have a lot of troubles, and it's just developing this instinct of there's got to be a better way. Maybe I can help. That can really open up the opportunities. A next step is to identify your stakeholders. Once you have a need, you want to consider who are the people that have the need. And this is broken into primary and secondary stakeholders. Primary stakeholders are the people that have the problem. They will directly interact with the solution, and they're like the users, the clients, the customers. They're the people that are on the ground that are going to directly interact with whatever it is that you're producing, whether it's a service or a product or a ecosystem or an infrastructure of some kind. The secondary stakeholders are the people who are affected by the solution or the problem, but are not primary stakeholders. So these might be the people that are paying for a solution, or the administrators or service providers, the people that are involved in the solution, but aren't necessarily the end users. Needs assessment should address the current state of the problem. What do people currently do? How are they doing this? What's the process that they're currently using? How do they interact with the problem or the solution? And what is the impact? What is the scope of what people are doing, and what is the scope of the issues that are involved? Desired outcomes or changes the customer or client wants. So talking to people in your needs assessment and asking them specifically, what is an ideal solution for you? Not necessarily what is the solution, but what is the ideal state? What do you wish was better, right? What do you want? What do people want that is not being done? What is the broad goals that you want to accomplish? Maybe it's a simplified process. Maybe it's time or cost reduction. And then what is the gap between the current state and the desired outcome? So what already exists, and what is the ideal outcome for a particular problem? And this is a really challenging thing, because you want to stay away from asking your clients for new solutions, because they're going to say things that they're not going to be very open to a lot of different things. And a great quote from Henry Ford here saying, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And he famously introduced inexpensive automobiles and an entire manufacturing process for making that possible. One way to do this is through a bug list. A bug list is a list of all the things that bug you about some process or service or product or aspect of everyday life. The idea here is to write down as many things as possible, and don't worry if it doesn't seem like there's a solution yet. Just think about the challenges that you have. And this is an exercise that helps develop your observational skills about the rest of the world. The next step is background research. So what are the issues and conflict points? Why does this problem exist, and why haven't people solved it before? If people have tried to solve it, how well did it work? What were the issues that they encountered, and things like that? And there's a ton of great sources for the background research process. Some of them are news articles and trade publications, journals, Google Scholar, Microsoft Scholar, those kinds of places are great resources for figuring out what people have tried before and why didn't it succeed, or if it did succeed, what were some of the issues that they encountered. Standing on the shoulders of those who came before you is a great way to get an advantage and make sure that you're not reinventing the wheel when it comes to trying to solve a particular set of problems. Overall, the problem statement, once you've gathered all this information, the problem statement is a succinct description of who has the problem, what is the need, what is the impact of the problem, what do they currently do, and focusing on the context. When and where and to whom does the problem occur? What is the impact of the problem? What is the emotional or quantifiable impact? Maybe it's quantifiable in money, maybe it's quantifiable in the number of people that have this problem, maybe it's a materials impact. And then what are the alternatives? What are the current best solutions, and why do they fall short? And the problem statement, it's really important to focus on what is the issue and problem you're trying to solve, and not start thinking about solutions. You're going to start to get a shape of a solution in your mind. You're going to have a lot of inspiration, but you want to keep yourself open to a wide variety of solutions at this stage, because you don't want to get sort of blind to the space of possibilities and go down one path. You want to cast a wide net, and that'll make you much more likely to find something that is innovative and impactful for the people you're trying to solve this problem for.